everybody. I'm doing a little impromptu message from my car, and I just saw the angel number 66. And I know that there's this conundrum of what angel number 66 means. And whenever you see 66, even though you want to own it as this like positive thing, or it's like, oh, I'm going through human stuff, or it still has this like undertone of being about the devil, you know? So I'm actually going to do a journey into angel number 66 right here, right now. And let's just see what comes up, shall we? Okay. By the way, I have to hold my cell phone. So let's just see how long I can hold my cell phone and do this at the same time. All right, here we go. Angel number 66. And by the way, I haven't had breakfast, so you guys might hear my stomach growl. Okay, swear to God, I'm ready now. Ready now. All right, I'm seeing a very thin line and a door that is wanting to open, and the door is actually wanting to open inward, so it's like pushing forward. And so the thin line actually is quite thin still. Even as the door is opening, it still seems to be kind of a thin line. It's almost like this is a very thick door. And the door just never opens. Like it's like always forever trying to open, and the line remains forever thin. I see a very odd looking angel here, and its face is very elongated and like oval shape. It doesn't have cheekbone features. It's more like an elongated oval shaped face. It's just long without like any cheekbones really. The eyes, it doesn't really have eyebrows necessarily. Its body is kind of not very chiseled. It's not very articulated. And the eyes are drooping and sad. This is a female and a male persona. And I see a sorrow between the man and the woman. And they are forever together, but they are forever, it's like they are blended together, but they aren't free to, they aren't, there's sorrow here. There's sorrow. I don't want to call it despair, because despair is a lot louder. Sorrow is a sort of a melancholy grief, you know, that's sort of expanded out over eons of time. Almost so tired, you know. I find this is very familiar, like a depression in a way. This energy is familiar, and it reminds me of depression, and it's a conflict between I am empathizing, I am understanding, I am sad with you, and then I'm getting stuck in that desire to want to help, but to feel unable to help. And now I'm lingering in that energy myself, as though it was sort of trapped me without me even realizing it, because I just simply wanted to help. But now I'm just still standing here, and I don't feel ignited in my heart. I don't feel like I have the capacity to help. I feel like all I can do is stand here and stare. It's all I can do. I can't even hug. I can't even ask a question. I can't even say, what can I do? And I feel forever trapped in this never-ending doorway that's just always opening but never opens, and the line remains forever thin. Something is changing. This has to do with it's like the human race needed to go through a very long segment of time, or even segments of time. I don't know how to define this exactly, but we needed to explore something, collectively explore it, and we are all God. We're all parts of God. So as God, we are collectively exploring, what is this feeling? What is this experience to have, but to feel disconnected from having? And what is that? and to play that out in the midst of all these different roles and all these different personalities, and to mold and shape a society based upon that experience, that feeling. It's almost like it was innately there that we would feel challenged to know how to help each other, challenged to know how to help the world, challenged to know how to make a difference. That we would stand in the eyes of the sorrow of our collective, of the human race, and not know what to do, and just to stand there and stare. And that is exactly as it's needed to be. I mean, there's another angel here that's saying, why are we in conflict with this experience? Because we all want it to be heavenly. But what if this is, and what if this is somehow something heavenly in its own right? I know heavenly is not this, right? What if this is somehow a gateway to heaven? What if this understanding is what helps us to really appreciate love and light? What if this door is the gateway to heaven? You guys know what I'm talking about, where let's just say it's winter time and now we really miss summer, okay? Now summer is that much greater. Spring is great because we're transitioning into now I can get in the pool. But now summer is just like really long and hot. And now I could use some fall days, So when we have change, it gives us a new appreciation for what we had or what we have as a new thing. So there's something about when you go a very long period of time feeling a sense of separation and sorrow, and challenges in our collective based on this phenomenon for a very long period of eternity, okay? So eternity's forever, but there's always change, even in eternity. Because I can come across souls that are in interdimensional spaces that have been in there for I don't know how long, and that was their eternity, but now they're entering into a new version of the same eternity, and a new experience of reality. Like, it's just crazy. So now we can appreciate heaven that much more, kind of concept. There's another idea coming to me. Okay, did I do this on a Patreon live stream? I can't quite remember. I might have. I can't remember where this memory is coming from exactly, but it had to do with the concept of God. And when we are in the oneness, we are all knowing, all aware, all that stuff. And now when we separate from that, and then return to that, we have a new appreciation for ourselves. We have a new appreciation for the oneness, because we separated from it for a time. We took a vacation from the all-knowing. We separated because we wanted to, because we needed it, because we desired it. And what if God was bored with the oneness, and the only way for God to truly expand in self-awareness was to separate from God's own self? What if something happened in the all, a ripple of, I need change, And so God separated from God's self, which created all these seeds of souls across this fabric of the universe and interdimensional planes of all these various overlapping universes, in order for God to find relief from God's own self. And then when we return, it's like, I love me this much more because I separated from me, And so when we all return to the oneness, God upgrades, God expands. And that's why we're so flippin' loved, Because God freaking loves God's own self, while simultaneously is bored with God's own self. It's so crazy, Okay, let's get back to it. I'm going to look at this angel of sorrow and this never-ending door in the line. Oh, yeah, I'm returning to the me that's kind of stuck, and it's depressing, It's kind of it's like you could get stuck. It's like a fly on fly paper. And I start to discover that the man and the woman are now two angels, separate, and their faces are like puzzle pieces. Their bodies are puzzle pieces, so they can merge together to create that weird form. But then when they separate, they have parts of their face missing because the other one has the other part of their face. And so they're two angels, a male and a female. I'm not meant to call them halves. I'm meant to call them wholes. They're whole in themselves, even though it looks like they have parts missing. And they're talking about how wonderful it is when souls merge together, because they are like interconnected puzzle pieces that discover more about themselves when they connect. But they are still whole when they are separate. But when the souls connect, they become more powerful. And there's a message here about how we are all puzzle pieces. So we're connecting with each other, and the more souls that connect in a collected group create a powerful experience and expression of God. So if we were to look at the entire human race, whether we know each other or not, we're all actually puzzle pieces, interlocked puzzle pieces in a way. That are this identity, this reflection of God. And we're working through our interconnected puzzle. But what's neat is there's always overlapping connections, because we're already connected. Now, let's say you meet best friend or future husband or wife, okay? Now you have kids, all right? So you're adding more connections, more layers of connections into your life in order to translate yourself and the meaning of life. Do you guys ever find that the older you get, the more grateful you are for more time? Because you start to understand the ins and outs of complicated things as to how you saw it when you were younger and how you see the same thing now. And you develop a new appreciation for everything. And even though life sometimes can drag on, because it's like inevitably challenging, life is inevitably challenging here. But you get through it, and sometimes you wonder, how in the world did I even get through it? It's a miracle, but now here I am, and now here I understand these things, and I'm thankful that I am still alive to understand these things, to have this experience right now. Because if something were to happen and my life would have ended sooner, then I wouldn't be in this moment having this epiphany and seeing and understanding. Again, I feel inspired to talk about human related things like okay, I think I might have just lost the thought. It'll come back to me, it will. It's like a jelly bean that was there and then it just popped out. I don't even like jelly beans. Anyway, that's how I saw it. I couldn't get the jelly bean back. Sorry, guys. But I feel like talking about, like life-related stuff. This was the jelly bean. All right. Maybe that's why I keep losing it, because it's complicated in how I want to share this thought right now. I've wondered about this. How many truly triumphant days do you have in a year? And how many days do you have struggling with yourself and with life in a year? And why is it that life seems to have so many more difficult days than it has triumphant days? But yet when you're in those triumphant days, it's almost like overwhelming gratitude. Is that when we reach a place of heaven for a brief moment in our incarnate state, where we slip through that line in the door, where we get to the other side for a brief moment, only to be pulled back to what our collective wants to experience right now? We have access to everything, but yet there is the separation and the sorrow. And that is what the God consciousness wanted to explore as this collective puzzle of each other interconnected. So what does 66 actually represent? This flow in our collective, this, they're talking to me, hold on. because they're saying that this is always triumphant. It's hard to feel, we want to avoid feeling sad. We want to avoid feeling like it's already bringing those feelings to me. We want to avoid feeling this despair, anguish, anger. We want to avoid even having those conversations. We want to avoid each other because we don't want to step on each other's toes. We may not be understood if we were trying to explain. So why should I say anything anyway? All the while we have our secret moments behind closed doors and we talk to ourselves or our guides, or maybe we just avoid those conversations altogether. And this is like day to day in the life of the human, but there's angels here talking to me about how truly special that is, because they see it as an extraordinary light. We see it as gloomy and dark, but they see it as an extraordinary light because it is a sacrifice. Because we are sacrificing so much of that wealth of true bliss, we are sacrificing that and going through this challenge. And we are going through this challenge, and there is so much light to the sacrifices that all souls make that come here to planet Earth to work through this experience, this exploration for God consciousness, for the oneness. We are giving an extraordinary gift to all souls by just simply being here and working through this great challenge. And there are days where we slip through that thin line and we enter through the heavenly gate, and we have moments of sheer triumph where we say, wow, I am so glad to still be alive today so I could have this moment and be grateful, only to circulate back into the challenges again. That they see this as extraordinary light, where we see this and feel the despair, the sorrow. It isn't that way through another pair of eyes. It is not that way through another pair of eyes, and we need to know that. And so the 66 is enlightenment. It's about seeing the truth in life for what it truly is representing. You could fall into the ego representation of that and see the gross sorrow and the suffering of the human race, or you could see the truth about that, the enlightenment side about that, the light, the sacrifice, the glory, the extraordinariness of it, and to be safe in our experience, to know it is safe to feel these ways, because that is part of our sacrifice. That is part of our exploration as the puzzle. That is God is exploring through each and every one of us, and we are sharing with each other or not sharing, but we're still connected. So we are always sharing, whether we are aware of it or not. People know me that like don't even know me, that I don't even know. Like in tribes and hidden jungles, we are connected to them. We are connected to people that we've never seen, never spoken to, never seen us. We're connected to alien races. We're connected to everything, literally everything. This is like kind of like a little island of exploration here on Earth through each and every one of us that God is very proud of. And so we need to see that God is with us. Our angels are with us when we see 66, and that the beauty of our life, the beauty of our life as a human being, the beauty of the connectedness and the oneness, to not feel a suffering because maybe life is challenging, but to see it as part of the sacrifice and the gift that your soul is sharing with the whole, with the oneness. It's really special. All right. That was cool, huh? Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed this. That was a lot of fun. I want to make more videos where I could be on the fly, because when I'm on the fly, it's like I'm more in the zone, and it's like the perfect time to share. But then when I can't, just when I'm not on the fly and I have to like prepare to share, it's like my mind has to somehow function and pull me back into the things that I wanted to say when it wasn't the perfect time to say it, even though, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, I'm done talking. I hope you all are having a very wonderful day. Thank you for being a part of my life. I love all of you. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Patreon. I hope you all enjoy this day.